Good morning, Naledi, and to our viewers. There's so much uncertainty when it comes to the leadership race here in the capital city that we're at a point where we actually do not know what to say about what is really happening, and also we can't really even predict what is going to happen. But the latest, of course, you would remember yesterday there was an adjournment. The Speaker adjourned the Special Council sitting, citing that he needs to get proper legal advice. And this has to do with the PR councillor from COPE who replaced Dr. Murunwa Makwarela, and that is Justice Sifanyeto. There has been so much controversy around this particular individual. You would remember the issue about 2 IDs, criminal record, the different statements from COPE that made the rounds. And what we can tell you in short, it seems like the leadership battles, or rather the inner squabbles in COPE itself, has now filtered through to the Tshwane Council, where it seems like COPE's challenges are now actually holding the whole Tshwane Council at ransom. But perhaps bigger than that as well, as all the politicians in council are trying to, obviously, they're trying to fight their own battles for the mayoral position, the multi-party coalition that has the numbers, in particular now that they have sorted out the issue around those 3 fired Action SA councillors. They have since been replaced, so it means that the multi-party coalition again has the upper hand, and the ANC EFF bloc, they still scrambling for numbers again. So those negotiations that we saw happening when Makwarela was still Speaker and he had those mayoral ambitions, that is happening again, where the ANC EFF bloc is trying to obviously speak to the other side to see which of the DA, which of the Action SA, and perhaps some of the multi-party coalition partners are disgruntled enough that they would swing their vote. So it seems like that is also happening. But the multi-party coalition, they have since, started a petition where they're trying to obviously petition the Speaker to convene the Special Council sitting this afternoon. They're saying that it was unlawful of him to adjourn the meeting yesterday. They were expecting everything to go smoothly, but you would understand that this is political. On Friday, when the multi-party coalition didn't have the numbers, they staged a walkout, collapse council, and the, of course, elections of a mayor could not take place. And yesterday we heard the EFF and ANC saying that, accusing the DA rather of having double standards, saying that this is the very same thing that they did on Friday. They walked out, they collapsed council because they didn't have the numbers. Now that they have the numbers, they want everything to be smooth sailing, and they walked out because they were unhappy about the COPE candidate. And yesterday the Speaker saying that he does not believe that the election of a mayor can continue until the issue around the COPE candidate is properly clarified within the bounds of the law. So those issues persist. The DA saying that if the Speaker does not accept the petition this afternoon, they then going to court. They're seeking an urgent interdict. They've been saying that since yesterday. So we're just monitoring to see how exactly will matters pan out here at the Tshwane Council. Will we see the council sit this afternoon per the demand of the multi-party coalition and, of course, the DA, or will the Speaker decide when he has gotten that legal action that he is looking for? But Naledi, while this fight is happening, there is the issue of the adjustments budget that needs to be passed before the 31st of March. Now, the province wants this to be passed before this Friday. The city of Tshwane has asked for an extension, a 7-day extension from the province, which they still need to get proper confirmation whether it has been accepted or not. But you would understand that they're running out out of time because they need to elect a mayor and a mayoral committee so that this budget can be passed. If the budget is not passed, it means the city would not have funds to fund some of their most strategic and important service delivery projects. You would understand that the city is already bankrupt. They're facing serious financial challenges, in particular after the AG's report, and of course the rating agencies that downgraded the city of Tshwane. So there is a lot of repercussions if these councillors do not unite and of course vote in a new mayor. But bigger than that is the issue of putting the city under administration. That is also looming. That if they do not meet that 31st of March deadline, the city of Tshwane could find itself in the hands of the province, and that could obviously spell bigger problems. Sanko is here to join us and to talk about, in particular, how the people on the ground are affected by the political impasse that is happening here. Kutso Simechane from Sanko joins me right now. So, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Patricia.
The politicians are fighting, but what happens to the people of Tshwane, the people who need services, in particular now that we are almost at the end of March?
Well, the people on the ground are crying for leadership. If we could have a mayor as of yesterday, I think the people on the ground would be much happier about that. But also the people are again concerned that tomorrow we are told that the mayor must be removed because of one or another irregularity. So that's an issue that as the citizens we are concerned about as a civic movement. That what the speaker is saying about him getting legal opinion, I think is prudent. So that as the citizens, once we have confirmed leadership, the leadership stays for some time. We know in Tshwane, since the last local elections, we have not had necessarily a mayor that has stayed for a time, so that we make sure that there's stability in the city, and as citizens, we are worried about instability in the city.
When we talk about the instability, and you're also mentioning the issue of how people are voting in the capital city, the issue around coalitions, how it seems to compromise, in particular, the voter. If you can just share your thoughts again with us.
And on that one, as a civic movement, we are convinced that if our people want to punish any party, they must punish it fully. This thing of not electing a majority outright as the electorate is punishing us, because like we are saying today, it's an issue of numbers. Next week we might be told that Action SA councillors have jumped ship, or one IFP member has jumped ship, therefore we have to go back. There's a motion. That thing does not assist. We are therefore calling on the citizens of Tshwane to say, when we go for elections next time, let's make sure that we vote whoever we want into a power, or vote out somebody, but make sure that there's some form of stability in how we vote.
The adjustments budget is supposed to be passed, but this is not happening. It was supposed to be passed by the 28th of February. There was an extension granted to the end of March, but time is running out and it seems like there is no progress. Are you worried that in particular the grassroots majority, the marginalized people in the townships might find themselves in a worse situation because the city would simply not be able to cater for them?
Well, as things stand, the services are not being received by the citizens. Whether it's in the city center, you go across, half the street lights are not working, there are potholes in the city. We don't want to mention the townships are worse. Now, without the passing of the budget, then it would mean that the situation is going to be even dire. So from where we're sitting as a civic movement, we want this budget passed as a matter of agency, so that at least services can go to our people. Our people are not receiving services as things stand.
The multi-party coalition, they obviously have been in power since the last local elections, which was in 2021. When you monitor how services have been delivered, their performance in Tshwane as a civic movement that is obviously representing the people on the ground, the residents, how would you rate their performance? What's your observation of how they performed in terms of service delivery?
Well, we're on record, they have performed poorly, in particular in townships. In townships, there's no services at all. Whether you speak about the water issue in Amanskral, or you speak about the roads in Garankuwa, or you speak about, again, there's another issue in Mamelodi with water. So as far as the townships are concerned, this multi-party coalition has not worked for our people, mainly in the townships. It has worked in some suburban areas, but we have not received services where they are needed the most, where the poor and the marginalized find residence in. And we're on record with saying that.
Lastly, as we still await for a mayor to be elected, if you had to appeal on the Tshwane councillors, what would you say to them as we wait? It's been the one postponement. It's so many games that are being played. As a civic organization that obviously is representing the grassroots majority, what would you say to them?
Well, our appeal is that the political parties must go and work. 2016 is 2026, in fact, it's around the corner. They should accept that those who are going to lose this one, they must just accept and lose it. So that at least service delivery goes to the people, the budget is passed, then they can fix their ways in 2026. Then it will be better for them.
All right, thank you so much. Of course, Sanko there adding their voice to the many voices, people being concerned about what is happening in the capital city. A lot of worry that this municipality might just collapse if the politicians do not apply their conscience and do the right thing. Of course, this as they're fighting for power. We wait to see how is this day going to turn out. We're also going to speak to the DA and the ANC to find out what exactly is happening between these two groups. Of course, the DA will be speaking for the multi-party coalition and the ANC will be speaking for the other side. These are the two blocks in the Tshwane Council that are obviously competing for power. As we have been saying and reiterating, the multi-party coalition has the numbers. But since the beginning, we have seen that the EFF ANC side seem to have the strategy, and they're obviously capitalizing on that broken relationship within the multi-party coalition, hoping that they can benefit again from that, in particular when it comes to electing a mayor. But I can confirm it seems like we are not even close to that. We spoke to the Speaker's office this morning, and they were saying that they did get correspondence from the multi-party coalition to convene the special council sitting today, but they said that they need 24 hours to do so, and that correspondence was actually given to them way after the cut-off time. So they're saying that most likely they're going to have to do this tomorrow, but we await to see whether the DA will go to court or what is their plan of action. Of course, we'll be speaking to them shortly just to find out where do matters stand as we await to see who will be the next Tshwane mayor. For now, we toss it back to studio.